you are viewing from, to our members and friends and family that are joining us via our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. Know that we love you and we appreciate you. We're continuing our September series this morning, Transcendent Purpose, a journey of self-discovery. And our topic for today, Elevated Awareness, invites us to set aside our humanness and allow our divinity to shine through and gain greater clarity through an elevated understanding. Inspired by our monthly theme, I am highlighting our licensed practitioners and ministers here at the Monterey Center for their dedication and service to the teachings and the practices of science of mind, and for the support that is continually provided for our community and wherever we are called to serve. I encourage you to read the articles in our weekly newsletter this month, focusing in a little bit more detail on the lives and works of the practitioners. September is a busy month within our organization for the practitioners and practitioner services. And so I thought it would be a good time for us to renew our vows, to say publicly again what we are called to and what we are committing to as licensed practitioners. And so I would invite our Monterey practitioners that are here, Denise and Connie and Amber. And I know Amber's doing a little technical adjustment for us to highlight Reverend Cindy and Reverend Tony, who are joining us via Zoom. Denise and Connie, would you join me here on the stage? Yeah. And Amber, when you're set, if you could join us also. There they are. Yeah. And so we have a statement of commitment that I will read, and that our response will be, yes, I am a healing presence. As licensed practitioners and ministers of the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, we are a healing presence wherever we are called to serve. We commit our time and energy to daily meditation, study, and spiritual mind treatment. We remain aware of the presence of God, spiritually attuned, and we are a healing presence to every person and every situation that we are called to assist. And so our response is, yes, I am a healing presence. So let's say that together. Yes, I am a healing presence. We commit to daily spiritual practices to remain aware of the presence of God, spiritual unfoldment, and the absolute truth of the presence of God in all we think, say, and do. And we respond, yes, I am a healing presence. We commit to behold the wholeness and fullness of God in all, and as all. And we respond, yes, I am a healing presence. We commit to maintaining an awareness of the spiritual identity of every person and to know the truth of all, perfect God, perfect person, perfect being. And we respond, yes, I am a healing presence. We commit to dedicating our lives to the teachings and principles of science of mind. And we respond, yes, I am a healing presence. We commit to dwelling in unconditional love, perfect peace, and thanksgiving. And we respond, yes, I am a healing
Yes,
presence.
I am a
And
healing.
together, and so it is.
And
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This is going to be hard
Yeah,
for me.
so first step. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. How good and how exciting it is to be a part of this community and to join with my practitioner peers and ministers. Within the tradition of Science of Mind, one is a practitioner before they become a licensed minister. And so we are all practitioners as we practice the principles and the presence of Spirit in our lives. And some of us have responded to a call to go a little bit deeper and to become licensed and to dedicate our time and talent to serving our local communities and serving our global communities at large. Ernest Holmes wrote this in The Science of Mind on page 103 in our Science of Mind textbook. We should not separate life from living, spirit from matter, nor divine principle from a universal creation. God is all in all. God is and is in everything. The gardener finds a divine idea concealed in the seed. And so this morning we're going to take a little bit of a view of the seed, the metaphor of the seed, as it reveals itself in our lives. Science of Mind teaches that inherent within our being is a pull toward expansion of our awareness. We have an innate curiosity and a drive to understand life and our connection to it. This is our quest, to understand life and our connection to it. Actively participating in spiritual practices help us to naturally expand our awareness and strengthen our connection to life. This in turn boosts our consciousness and shapes our spiritual senses. Through the creative process, we continue to grow and expand. The more we reach out, the more we seek connection. This passion becomes a part of everything we do and how we live. In his book entitled Anger, Thich Nhat Hanh wrote these words: human beings are not our enemy. Our enemy is not the other person. Our enemy is the violence, ignorance, and injustice in us and in the other person. When we are armed with compassion and understanding, we fight not against other people, but against the tendency to invade, to dominate, and to exploit. Ascension and elevation of our awareness of consciousness reveals to us a natural way of being. And as we approach the fall equinox, which begins tomorrow, it's an opportunity for us in the Northern Hemisphere to shift our awareness from one of activity to one of relaxation and restoration and renewal. We recognize that we're increasingly drawn to explore our inner landscape of our spiritual calling and to recognize there is always room for growth and expansion in God. As we learn, grow, and develop, our direction may shift from what we initially thought as we listen inward and receive new guidance. And I can just share how this has impacted my life in many of ways. But the story I like to share is my running away from the call to ministry and all of the steps that I did to avoid it. And And I think innately is also a question of my worthiness to step into this calling. Am I worthy of this calling? And Spirit has a funny way of getting our attention. And so Spirit acted out in my life by having my late wife and I sell our home in California, leave our friends and family behind, and move to another state for what appeared to be a business opportunity. And shortly after the move, the business opportunity disintegrated. And so here we are in this foreign territory, no friends. The couple that we knew were divorcing. And it's like, God, why? Why? And I remember one of those moments where I really felt that my back was up against the wall and the wall was moving and there was no support for the back. I just said, okay, I surrender. And it was in that surrender that I finally heard for myself what others had been seeing for me for many years. And I said, yes. And in that yes, every door that needed to be opened for me to enroll in ministerial school. And so I enrolled in the process of making a move back to California, did all of my matriculation online, paid my fees online, and actually the Agape Center was still part of Science of Mind at that time. And Agape had a satellite campus. Agape Center is located in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area. And they had a satellite campus in Oakland, at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And I had some connections with some of the people at Agape. And so when I called the registrar, I said, I finally have answered the call and I want to enroll, I want to begin the enrollment process. And the response was, well, we've been waiting for you. And so that was the beginning of this journey, which is now expanded. I've been a licensed minister. I received my license in 2008, and I was ordained in 2011. And so I've been on this ministerial journey. But prior to that, I was a licensed practitioner. I received my practitioner license in 1997. So I have been practicing, actually I've been a student of this philosophy for over 30 years. And it's a journey that I look back through the narrow windshield and give thanks for where I've come from. And I look forward through the expanded windshield of life and give thanks for the journey that is continuing to unfold. Listening to Spirit and acting on the new inner messages that we receive is akin to planting seeds in our garden. We water the seeds and we watch them sprout and bud with our faith, and we continue to listen and act. As we remove the blinders, we see more clearly what is ours to be and to do. Remember that sequence, what is ours to be and then to do. Sometimes we reverse it and we say, okay, what is mine to do? We ask first, what is mine to be? And then, what is mine to do? The trust we have becomes even more meaningful when we can see where we are truly headed. And each one of the subtle nudges of guidance is a seed, a signal of our growth in consciousness expanding and a calling for us to pursue our transcendent purpose in God. Living a spiritual life is like being on an elevator and expanding our awareness. We lift off, we lift up, and we grow through life's experiences. Whether up, down, or standing still, we grow our expanded understanding of truth principles. Growth on a spiritual path requires diligence and attunement. This journey calls us to practice the presence of God. It demands dedication and inward focus amidst the many distractions of our world of affairs. And this is why, as practitioners and ministers, I feel it is important for us to take the time out to publicly renew our vows. So we're saying to our communities and to those places that we've come to serve that, yes, I am a healing presence, and this is what I have committed my life to. This is a life calling. You know, it's a practice that we may retire from in terms of active duty, and yet the calling on our life never changes. It never ceases. Growth on the spiritual path requires hours of preparation. Just as it is required to launch a rocket, nurturing the inner presence of the divine within us demands significant preparation and attention. These efforts are worthwhile because at some point we lift off and we take flight like a rocket. Everything we do becomes infused with the focused consciousness that we have cultivated. And so the call to action that I offer to us this morning is to recognize the elevated awareness we attain depends on our understanding and passion and our realization of divine truth. It deepens with our understanding and passion for realizing the divine truth. This awareness radiates from everything we are and in all that we do, and we continue to soar. And this morning, this is for you, Cindy. This morning before service, we were greeting one another, and I said good morning, and someone said, "What's the good about it?" And I said, I will answer that in my talk. And so the answer comes in the form of a thoughtful question. If someone were to ask you to name what you love most in life, how long would it take for you to name yourself? That was my response when I heard this. This was the challenge from one of the meditation teachers that I study with. If someone were to ask you to name what you love most in life, how long would it take you to name yourself? And so in response to your question, I am the best thing that happened this day. And I invite you to just be with that. You know, if you're not quite there yet, be with that idea that I am the best thing that happened in my life today. I am the best thing because God chose me as the vessel to express itself through. So therefore, I am the greatest thing that is happening in life right here and right now. And when we see that in ourselves, we see it in everyone that we interact with. We see it in the smile of a baby. I was at the Monterey Aquarium last week, and there was quite a few families there. It was a weekday, and there were quite a few families there. A lot with strollers, a lot with infants and strollers. And I was standing in front of one of the exhibits, and the dad was holding this. It was a boy. The dad was holding his son, and the baby had the most gorgeous gray eyes. And he was just looking at we were at the kelp tank, and he was looking at the movement that was taking place in the tank. And then he looked at me with these beautiful eyes, and I smiled at him, and this big smile broke out on his face. This is how we connect. You know, it's a smile, even if it's not with a baby, it's a smile with one another. It's a smile that we greet each other with when we come into this spiritual gathering. And it's that same smile that we're encouraged to take out and spread out into our world. And so our call to action is to be vessels of spirit through which it can flow freely. Our spiritual practices support these efforts, ensuring that we always ascend in our understanding as we navigate the ups and downs of life. We create a new paradigm that is healthier and more supportive of a world that works for all. I invite us now to say our affirmation for the week. And we will say it twice. Practicing the presence of God elevates my awareness. Practicing the presence of God elevates my awareness. And I invite us now to turn within in prayer. A songwriter once penned these words that spirit is the best thing that ever happened to me. Spirit is the best thing that ever happened to me. And what I know to be true right here and right now, that spirit, the very essence of creation, is creative intelligence, God. Whatever name it is that resonates with us in the recesses of our own heart, call forth that into your awareness right here and right now, knowing that it is the life that represents itself in all of humanity and all of creation, that which is animate and that which we call inanimate. And I am, and we are, one with the source. Each one an individualized expression of the divine, living, moving, and having our very beingness as the life of God. And so I speak my word this morning in deep, deep gratitude for each expression of the divine that is gathered here in our spiritual center, those that are joining us via technology, as well as all people in all places that are gathering in the name and nature of the one life. And I know that as we elevate in consciousness, that at those points of intersection, there is a conscious connection that lifts and invigorates and vibrates and expresses as joy and compassion and love and understanding. A deep connection knowing that in our differences lies our uniqueness. So I'm declaring this for our world this morning. I'm declaring that it starts within my own mind. And when there is peace in my mind, there is peace in the world. And so I'm declaring right here and right now that I am at peace with myself, that I love myself unconditionally. And I invite each one to move into that awareness of being at peace in your own mind, peace in your own heart, peace with yourself, knowing that this is a place where all things occur that moves us in the direction of unity and harmony and compassion and love and grace. This is what the world needs now. And so in the silence of our own hearts, I say yes to the prayers that are awaiting to be written or to be spoken or to just to be held in thought. Knowing that Spirit is always saying yes to the desires of our heart. And as we make those desires known, and as we dedicate the time and the practice of our spiritual principles, they become manifest in our lives. And I speak my word of peace for families and individuals that are experiencing multiple transitions in life, however those transitions are showing up. And especially prayers lifted for those whose loved ones have left this physical expression and have now joined the ancestors into that place of non-locality, where their presence and their essence is always with us. Each time there's a memory of the essence, the kernel of love, that seed that was planted into our lives that encourages us to rejoice and be glad, and to know that love is a healing balm that causes everything to move into and express as the perfection of the divine. And so for this and so much more, I am eternally grateful as I release this word into that law, which always says yes, and I know that it is propelled into action by love. Knowing that the demonstration is already occurring in our lives right here and right now. I just release this. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, please affirm it by saying with me, and so it is. And so it is. And so it is time now for us to share in the circulation of abundance. We have an affirmation of abundance that I would invite us to say together. I recognize the presence of God within as a source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so as the greeter passes the offering basket here in the center, I know that many of you do not mail in your donations or you donate online. And as the basket passes by, I just ask you to infuse it with love, knowing that whatever is placed in the basket grows and expands. And for those of you who are viewing online, we appreciate your support. And the multiple ways we can donate to the center is through mail to our online, to mailing to our physical location, 400 West Franklin Street, Monterey, California, 93940. You may text to give, and you may also donate online at montereycsl.org and click on the donate button. Thank you for supporting us in the ways that you do. To our Facebook and our YouTube communities, we thank you for joining us, and we invite you to return next week as we conclude our September theme, Transcendent Purpose. And our topic is Mission Possible. Mission Possible. Listening to the voice of hope in an otherwise hopeless situation that either whispers or shouts, anything is possible. And so for those of us who are here